Welcome back. Let's do the same thing, write factorial, but do it the recursive way. Okay, so what we need to do, the first thing, aside from just defining our function, the first thing is going to be to understand both the base case and the smaller chunk, the recursive call, the different, whatever we want to call it, basically the two different components. So let me just define it here. It takes in a number like this. And what we're going to do, factorial of 3 is equal to 3 times the factorial of 2. Factorial of 2 is equal to 2 times the factorial of 1. So what we're going to, at the end of the day, we're going to return here num times factorial of num minus 1. So hopefully this part makes sense. But if we just had this would be problematic because there's no stopping point. If num starts at 10, then we're going to return 10 times factorial of 9. But then factorial of 9 returns 9 times factorial of 8. But it keeps going. It goes past 0, goes to negatives, and it will go forever. So that's not good. So we need to have the endpoint. Well, what is our endpoint? Well, we kind of can take what we did in the iterative version. We multiply by 1. That's the end of the road. We don't want to keep going to 0 because if we multiply by 0, it eliminates all of our hard work because it wipes everything out, the magical power of 0. So we'll just do something like if num is equal to 1, return 1. Factorial of 1 should be 1, right? If we plug 1 in here, we should get 1 right away. 1 times 1. There's nothing below it to multiply by. And this is it. This is the solution. So it's short. And if we step through it, let's do it with 3 again. It's the same idea behind the last one we did with sum range, right? It looks identical, except we're multiplying instead of adding. So factorial of 3 is going to return 3 times factorial of 2. Factorial of 2 is going to return 2 times factorial of 1. Factorial of 1 returns 1. So then we work back up. So if we just really quickly do this, factorial of 3. Actually, let me do factorial of, let's do 5, a little bit larger, just to show you. And I'm not going to go through it step by step. We're just going to very quickly look at what happens to our stack over there as it continues to grow. Okay, so now num is 1. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 calls here. Num is 1, which is returned. So then we work backwards. You can see the return value growing from 1. It then is multiplied by 2, then by 3. Now we're going to multiply it by 4. We get 24. Then we multiply it by 5, and we get 120, and then that's the return value, 120. And you can see the console shows us, it displays the return value of 120. All right, so that is recursive factorial, a very, very common intro to recursion exercise. And it's a pattern, as I already explained, it's basically the same thing here, except we're multiplying now instead of adding.